Hi, I'm Ethan, I love muzzleloading, and this is your muzzleloading news for the week. This story isn't from this week, it actually happened back in June, but we're reporting on it now because we're starting to get a picture of how this is going to affect traditional black powder distribution moving forward here until this has been fixed. In June 2021, part of the Goex black powder plant, one of the Hodgdon facilities down in Louisiana, caught fire and burnt. This caused some pretty bad damage, and it has caused now some more production woes that nobody really needed coming out of the last year or so. We're waiting to hear more information on how this rebuild goes. Hodgdon and Goex have been pretty quiet about this. The reports that came out about this incident were really from local news stations covering what had happened. So we're waiting to hear more information from Hodgdon and Goex about the impact this is going to have. My sources are saying that this could impact black powder distribution for the rest of this year as Hodgdon tries to catch back up and fulfill some of their other contracts out there. So what does this affect? Thankfully, it's not going to affect the Blackhorn 209 production, which we're just now starting to see back in stores and coming into supply as we prepare for the fall 2021 hunting season. Depending on how long these delays go, this could affect the distribution for traditional black powder under the Goex brand to traditional muzzleloading enthusiasts. Now, we're all hoping that this gets resolved quickly, Hodgdon can catch up, and Goex continues to be produced for traditional muzzleloaders. But I bring this up not to scare anybody, but to bring it to your attention so that if you are working on or planning on into traditional muzzleloading this fall for your hunting season and you don't already have your supplies, now is a good time to go out and find some. But we don't want to see a run on powder that could result in more shortages as we've seen over the past year here. So if you know you're going to need an extra can for some matches this fall or for your hunting season, pick up an extra can. But if you have some already, if you already have 4 or 5 pounds set back and you don't need any, please leave some for the new shooters out there and the people that really need it. We want to make sure that everybody that has gotten into muzzleloading over the past year, year and a half through this boom can really get started and get out to the range with the supplies that they need. Next up, it looks like another 2 million RWS percussion caps are headed into the country thanks to Schutzen and Swiss black powder. With CCI muzzleloading caps likely delayed as CCI continues to try to fulfill the high demand for centerfire primers, number 11 percussion caps have been hard to find pretty much all summer here. With Schutzen and Swiss here importing another round, this is some great news for anybody with their cap and ball muzzleloaders. Just like the shipment earlier this year, these caps will be headed out to distributors across the country. So in the next few weeks here, you might start checking in with your local distributor or your online retailer to see if and when they're going to be getting another shipment of these. Just like with powder and other supplies though, please don't hoard these. If you have 1,000 or 10,000 caps like I hear about some people having, please don't go out and buy another huge batch of them. Leave some for the newer people here into muzzleloading or the people that don't stock up as much that I think are really going to learn now after these shortages that they need to stock up when they can. So if you have a line on some of these percussion caps as they come into the country, please take a few hundred, take what you need, and leave some for the rest of the muzzleloading shooters out there. Last week, CVA shared some promising information about their 2021 muzzleloader lineup. CVA reps traveled out to Oklahoma to spend time with the Buck Ventures team to discuss their new rifles and their new muzzleloaders for the 2021 season. During this kind of conference or meetup, we got to see the first look at the new camo pattern featured on the Paramount HTR. This is a great pattern in my opinion, and it looks a lot like some of the classic camo that I have seen my father and grandfather hunt in over the past few years. It's got a modern twist on it, but really I think the colors are nice and the shapes really harken back to that kind of classic hunting atmosphere, while all the while being a new pattern on a new kind of inline muzzleloader, at least when it comes to mass-produced production model inline muzzleloaders. It's a good looking gun. We're still waiting to hear on when we're going to get these, but in the CVA Shooters Facebook group, we got a little bit more insight this week as shooters continue to ask questions and the CVA reps are really on the ball about answering them and trying to keep people calm as we head into the fall season. People are getting a little anxious, but the CVA reps are doing a good job of informing everybody, but not making promises that they can't keep. In a comment thread, CVA rep Rick Taylor responded to a question about why retailers have pre-orders open for the new 2021 CVA muzzleloaders and CVA.com doesn't. In short, CVA is supplying their retail partners first before putting the rifles for sale on their own site. This seems a little backwards. You would normally think that CVA would want to control the outflow of these muzzleloaders through their own site. But when you think about it, this does make a lot of sense when you think about it from CVA's perspective. The more muzzleloaders they put out to their retail partners first, the less that they internally have to deal with, alleviating a possible bottleneck of shipping and distribution logistics here. What CVA is saying here is, look, our retail partners are really good at distributing these muzzleloaders out to our customers. We're going to get them to our retail partners first so that you, the hunters, the shooters, the competitors, you all can get these and get testing and get ready for your hunts this fall. Along with this, Midway USA has their pre-orders set for late August, August 21st, for the Acura X series, being the LRX and the MRX. This is when these pre-orders should ship. It's late in the month, but I don't think they're going to lose a lot of people when it comes to getting these new muzzleloaders for 2021. We've all been waiting this long, and a few more weeks at this point isn't going to be a make or break unless you have one of those early season muzzleloader tags out west. In competition news, Landon Kenney has won the July Inline Hunters match at Friendship, Indiana. Landon is quite possibly the youngest competitor, I think, ever in the history of this match to win and go home with the gold. He continues a Be Still Custom Creations almost dynasty with these matches over the past few years, winning with his father's Be Still Custom Creations custom inline muzzleloader from Jeff Fisk. This match is organized and ran by some wonderful volunteers, including Bob Wetzler. It features a tough course of fire on a particularly windy range, which I think makes the win from Landon all the sweeter. Again, congrats Landon, congrats Chris for raising such a good boy. It's exciting to see him going home with the gold here. Coming off of the May 2021 auction, heralded for its massive collection of original muzzleloaders, including Hamilton's original pistols, the Rock Island Auction Company is slated to do even better when it comes to muzzleloaders this September with their September Premiere auction. Currently, Rock Island is sitting on several hundred wonderful muzzleloaders for this auction. They'll be updating their social media pages a ton leading into this with some fine pieces. We're really excited here at I Love Muzzleloading to travel out to the Rock Island Auction Company here in early August to get an up-close and personal look with some of the finest muzzleloaders for this auction. So be sure to follow I Love Muzzleloading and ilovemuzzleloading.com for more information with that trip and with some of the super neat muzzleloaders we're going to be taking a look at. Coming up in August here, the 25th Annual CLA Auction is slated for August 13th and 14th. After last year's cancellation, the CLA Show is promising a super great event this year. Being the 25th anniversary, they're having the typical two-day show. They're also having an anniversary celebration Friday night to celebrate 25 years of contemporary long rifle artistry, culture, and collecting. If you're active on the American Long Rifles Forum and you'll be at this show, they're hosting a get-together at noon on Friday. From the show, take the escalator down to level 2, turn left and follow the signs for meeting rooms. We will meet at noon in the open area and the hallway. It's been great hanging out on the American Long Rifles Forum over the past few years, and the chance to meet some of the people that we've been talking to online in person. It's something I'm really excited about. After last year kind of being cooped up, holed up, it's going to be nice to get out and see some more people this fall. If you want to talk muzzleloaders or be featured in our I Love Muzzleloading CLA coverage, please feel free to stop me. I'd also just love to talk about muzzleloaders, so just pull me aside and say, hey, let's talk. To wrap up this week, we're heading out of summer and into early autumn, and I just want to remind everybody that if you're planning on working on a muzzleloading project, be that a muzzleloading kit, some accoutrements, some DIY projects, anything in the muzzleloading space right now, now is the time to start planning for those winter projects. Last year, we saw a dramatic increase in the interest in muzzleloading kits. The entry-level kits last year were all but sold out for months, pretty much from October to early January before we started to see shipments coming in from Spain and Italy. In the American-made kits here, everybody that was making kits in America was working 24/7. Jim Kibler put out a video earlier this year that they've been working 24/7 at least 5 days a week to keep up with kit demand. And I don't know that that has gone down over the fall here. I think people have been out and working on other projects and things, but as we head towards fall, I think muzzleloading and hunting is going to come back up to the front of everybody's brains here. So if you're planning on getting a muzzleloader kit and getting into muzzleloading here for the winter, now's the time to get those supplies ordered and get them on the way. We're working on building a full list of muzzleloading retailers and kit manufacturers at ilovemuzzleloading.com to direct you to some of our favorites and as some of our fan favorites. So if you have a supply shop or retailer or a craftsperson that you think we should be linking to, let me know in the comments. Muzzleloading really is a small community, and getting some more information out there about some of the mom and pop shops, because pretty much everything when it comes to muzzleloading. Every shop is a mom and pop shop, and they always have a deep place in my heart. So no offense to Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's, but if we can direct people to supporting the mom and pop shops that have been supporting muzzleloading for decades, I think we can keep the tradition going for many years ahead. To give you some insights on some of the winter projects that we have planned here at I Love Muzzleloading, I recently picked up an InvestArms Bridger Hawken kit from muzzleloaders.com. I'd like to thank Darren for setting me up with a nice discount code to get that kit here to me in Indiana. We're going to be building that on the YouTube channel here this fall, looking to kind of start and release the first videos probably in early October, and you'll be following along the entire build process for this flintlock Hawken. I've also been tinkering with some small priming horn and other powder horn projects here in the shop that I'm excited to share with you, as well as some other really projects in the more of the historical trekking realm, with some of the knapsacks and some of the other supplies needed to go on a historic trek, kind of like you saw in our Coal Creek video earlier this year. Once again, I'm Ethan, I Love Muzzleloading. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to learn more about any of the stories we covered here today in this episode of Muzzleloading News, visit ilovemuzzleloading.com. If you want to hear more about muzzleloading, check out the I Love Muzzleloading podcast. We're trying to release episodes monthly and working towards bi-monthly here as we head into winter, where there's less things to do and less work to do here around the farm outside. But if you have anybody that you want us to reach out and talk to for the podcast, leave them in the show notes below. And as always, if you have any questions about muzzleloading or have anything you want to share with us here at I Love Muzzleloading, you can email us at ilovemuzzleloading@gmail.com. Thanks again. We'll catch you next time.